welcome to Advertisers Watching Ads. This is a weekly show where different brands watch other brands' ads and discuss what is good and bad about them. This week we are brought to you by the Conscious Advertising Network, so please go and check those guys out after the show. We will be talking about KFC's new campaign this week, but before we do, I'd like to introduce you to our guests.
I'm Nisha. I am about to be a Chief Client Officer at Creature London, and I'm also co-director of Reset Sessions.
I'm Anisha. I'm the Group CM of Caro and recently CEO of Juala.com, Indonesia.
Hi, everyone. My name is James Douglas. I'm SVP of Performance Marketing at Publicis Media.
So we're going to look at the new KFC campaign. So back in March, alongside a lot of other restaurant businesses, all KFC's UK restaurants had closed, or 900 of them, and they were currently running a campaign which was all about licking your fingers. And 163 complaints were lodged with the ASA, and all that had to stop. So what we're going to do is now have a quick look at the ad that has just been released. So this new campaign spans a TV spot, print, digital out of home. They've gone heavy on TikTok and Twitter. And interestingly, this concept came out of KFC UK, but it's actually become the first global campaign to run out of the UK. And this is really rare because to get cultural nuances right in all markets with all the same idea is pretty difficult. But because this idea is centered around a product and brand truth, actually translates very well. And KFC's UK head of advertising, Kate Wall, said, "We all shared the same insight for the first time ever." And it's amassed a ton of earned media in the UK, ready for The Guardian, Daily Mail have covered it. But is it a clever publicity move for getting lots of free media by announcing essentially they're not doing a campaign? And is finger licking actually really a danger to the public? And some commentators have said by pretending to solve a problem, they're putting themselves in the media. So is this an idea, or is it the absence of an idea? I would love to discuss that with you guys. But Manisha, we'll go to you first. What did you think when you first saw this campaign?
Well, you know, Tom, I'm rather blunt, so I'll say it as it is. I thought it was lazy, and it was an attempt of just doing something for the sake of it, and doing it quickly and cheaply. So I didn't really think, I couldn't connect to it much. Many parts of the world, people do prefer to eat with their hands and not use cutlery. So instead of saying, it's good in removing the finger licking, there you would have done a much better job by saying, wash your hands.
Hanisha, what was your first response to the ad?
So if you're looking at trying to create a campaign that people will talk about, it's not really about the message, it's the way that they've done it, which is so KFC, in the same way they did their FCK bucket ad. It's very them. I think it's funny. I don't think anyone should take it too seriously either. I mean, everyone knows about washing your hands, but it wouldn't be very KFC just to go out with an ad saying, please wash your hands before enjoying our chicken.
How about you, James? Where do you sit in between those two views?
So I love the irreverent take on this. And I think my reaction when I first saw the pixelated words was, wait a second, are they replacing that word with something explicit? Like it's wicked good with stronger language. So I thought that was, funny, interesting.
But I can definitely see this winning awards. I can see this doing very well, but is it really going to work?
Honestly, I don't know. Don't you think doing this actually disconnects the customer from the entire proposition of KFC? I mean, people want to eat it because it's finger licking good. And the moment you take that experience away, am I really enjoying KFC, or am I having fine dining? Right. So where do you take away the experience of eating fast food the way you've sort of brainwashed your customers to eat it for the past 64 years? And now you're saying, don't do it this way. You have to eat it another way. It's almost re-engineering the brand and the proposition and the product as well.
And James, we've seen the rise of almost the anti-ad. You know, we had Carlsberg a little while ago that had something along the lines of not the best lager in the world, and then we had the moldy Whopper, which showed the fact that their Whopper does go moldy after time because it doesn't have artificial ingredients in it. And once again, they've kind of removed the thing. I mean, it's very postmodern, this idea that you can remove advertising to do advertising or swim in the face of what your brand stands for. Is this a trend that we're going to see elsewhere with other brands, do you think?
Is this ad successful, and will others follow it? I think because the vast majority of restaurants, fast food restaurants like KFC, have kind of shifted to takeaway across most of the world, at least temporarily. I think this type of messaging, this type of approach, absolutely kind of captures a perfect opportunity in the environment and messaging. And I think those opportunities will be looked at and may absolutely drive a distinct, different way of thinking about advertising, kind of to your point, Tom, about postmodernist unique approaches, just to, again, kind of get that breakthrough and really capture the moment as effectively and as uniquely as possible.
Anisha, what would have made this ad better, apart from not featuring meat, obviously, but from a purely creative perspective, what would have made this ad work better for you?
It could just be funnier, it could just be funnier. Like they could go further into, I don't know, if they were ever going to use people, you'd even have kind of like the slapstick humor around people smacking chicken out of people's hands, or, stopping people from actually licking their fingers.
And James, any builds from a media perspective? They certainly went big, and in their words, I think they said they went heavy in the first week and seemed to have put it everywhere. Was that the right move?
Yeah, I do think so. I mean, the ad, I don't want to criticize the production value too much, but the ad's pretty straightforward. Can be chopped and sliced and diced in a million different ways. As we discussed, the print advertising in restaurant, shorter form versions elsewhere. So from a, this is me geeking out on performance, I like it. And I think absolutely going big, because I naturally think that this is a point in time campaign. I don't know if it has legs beyond, a 3-month sort of life cycle. The earned media that they're capturing is fantastic. So where do they pivot from here?
So to finish off, what I'd like you all to do is just to give a very short, bite-sized bit of advice to the industry based on what you learned from watching this ad and having this discussion.
Don't jump on it just for the sake of jumping on it. Take a step back, really think through. Don't be opportunistic because it can hurt the brand long term. Only do it if the purpose and the intention is very clear to the customers from the get-go.
Yeah, I think if you are trying to create something for the moment, especially during this pandemic, do it in your way. Don't try and do it in a way that everyone else has. Have
fun with your assets. They played around with a tagline that's been, incredibly critical to them for many, many decades.
Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you all next week.